20th. Until everybody was declared. But
Yeah.
you think I should wait, or do you think I should at least get one
Hmm.
going in January? I mean, most of the main guys are in, right? But we just don't know, is Clyde Edwards-Helaire going to come back? Is Justin Jefferson going to declare? And if I start a Devy,
Etienne.
if I start a Devy
Chuba. Yeah.
Higgins, like if I do one today and those guys come back and they're not in the pool, that kind of throws off the data. So I feel like I got to wait a little bit longer.
It's on,
Yeah.
on one hand, you could be padding those stats for later time too, but no, it's if you do it with the caveat that hey, this is pre-final declaration, then this is what it is. It's going to change in a couple of weeks, but people love it, man. People are chewing that stuff up right now. Everyone I know who's like toes in the water kind of people are sending me all these links of all these mock drafts, are just eating it up right now. So they're like, oh man, did you see this? And I'm catching myself. I've been on that. What's that website, Dwight? The Pro Football
Draft Network.
Yeah.
Draft
Oh my
Network.
gosh, I'm sitting
here.
Geez,
I've done almost every team twice, man.
I'm just sitting here going like, okay, I'm gonna do the Colts. This will be fun. And like we're just watching TV with my wife, just cranking it out, going, oh my god, I should be a GM or whatever. But it's that time, man. So yeah, the more the better, I think. And it's okay if it changes in a couple of weeks because that's just how this game goes.
Yeah, those are so fun.
I was looking at the analytics to the rookie draft pieces on DLF, and you should see how many hits those articles have gotten compared to everything else. Like I was looking at it today, and I was just like, holy crap.
Man. Did you tell Dwight what's going on?
I didn't tell. That's your news to tell, man. It's on you.
Dwight, it's been real, man. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going anywhere.
Damn
it. No, I'm kidding. But Ray was plugging your boy, and I'm going to join the DLF team, man, on the Devy side.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good, man.
I talked to Tyler. He was cool. He was all pumped up, actually. Tim Keller hit me up. It was all pumped up. So I told him I'll still obviously stay on, do rankings, do the pod if they'd have me. And they said, yeah, absolutely. But I'll do the writing on the DLF side.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Kane reached out to me the other day. He said he's gotten offers from DLF in a couple places and asked me what I thought of it. And I told him I love it. I feel like the exposure at DLF is really, really high. I said sometimes I wish the DLF chat in Slack was a little more popping. You can go days sometimes without anybody saying anything in the DLF chat, and I'm like, good Lord, DHH, you can't go more than 10 minutes without anybody saying anything.
Oh my gosh.
They're always running their mouths in there. So it's a little quieter. I said, but it's nice. I feel like it's more prestigious and more. I mean, we're going up to $20 an article too. So and you got to like that too.
Oh, I thought it was $20 an hour. I'm just teasing.
No, that wouldn't be enough for you, would it? What do you?
They're very they run it like a true business. Like you feel like you're really a part of just everything. Right. It's just very professional, man. Your contribution counts, how quickly they make payments at the quarter, the email, the quarterly newsletters. Everything is just very professional.
Very organized. It's really nice. And when they came to Canton, I mean, they came. I mean, their booth was tight, and like everybody wanted to talk to Ryan. Like everybody knows Ryan McDowell. I mean,
right?
Like he's like the Godfather. he's like everybody knows Ryan. Jesus.
So I know we got to start, but real quick, let me tell you how much money DLF is making. The fact that they can pay all these writers $20 an article, plus if you're a ranker, you get like an extra bonus. Plus, if you participate in these little side projects, you get other bonuses. So the fantasy footballers, they pay $15 an article, and you can only do a max of 4 articles a month. And I was talking to Ryan, and Ryan was like, Mike Wright ain't driving a Tesla because he's stupid. Like, they're keeping all their money. Like, you can write, if you wrote 100 articles for DLF in 1 month, you can write 100 articles. Like,
man,
if you wanted to do that.
Yeah.
The ballers, they only let you write 4 a month. Like, there is no loading up there. So
interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
And what was Tyler was saying a few months back now that they were getting like 80,000 downloads a week on their podcast too, something crazy like that.
Who, the ballers?
Yeah.
Dude, I think they're getting more than 80,000, man. Like
Maybe 80,000 an episode, and they had 5
Maybe
episodes.
maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it was.
So that's like 8 million or something. I don't know. I'm not good at math.
I saw an article where they're making individually. They're like 7-figure guys. Like
Wow.
Jeez.
And you know how they started? Go back on YouTube and look at their first episodes that they did. It's really fun to watch that progression. They just started out doing the podcast for their own league, and then it just evolved.
Right. Because they were all like software designers and stuff, and I think they had money when they came into it, so it wasn't like as big of a deal for them to, but they just have really good charisma. I love listening to those guys. I don't even really listen to like their advice half the time. I just like listening to them talk. They're fun.
Yeah. Y'all ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Oh, we gotta do the Audacity start thing. Okay. Hold on. All you guys are you ready?
Yep.
Whoa.
Audacity, yep.
Yep.
All right. 1, 2, 3, go.
Test.
Testing.
Test. Yeah.
Test.
All right, here we go. 2, 3, 4.
10 seconds. Okay.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Devy Happy Hour, episode 35. We are your source of knowledge for college players and the fantasy football landscape. You can find us on Twitter at Devy Happy Hour. Email us at devyhappyhour@gmail.com if you prefer to use that route. We always love to listen to answer any questions you may have and look at your rosters and give you any advice. Never, ever hesitate to reach out to us. All three of us are more than willing to help you guys. So let's introduce our wonderful co-hosts here. First up, we have Matt Griffith, Mr. Deltron. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great, buddy. Came off the holidays. I'm, kind of burned out on all that, but it was nice to have some time off for sure. And I'm finally off the high of finishing fourth in the Scott Fish Bowl. So I don't think we've had a recorded since then, but ended up finishing fourth. Went into that game, no Chris Godwin, no Derrick Henry, and a whopping 8.5 points out of Deshaun Watson, and still finished fourth place. So not mad at it, but hey, man, here we are, first part of the year, digging into these Devy players, prospects, drafts, mocks. It's game time.
Right, absolutely, man. Next up, Ray Garvin. Ray GQ, how you doing, bud?
Happy New Year. Doing well. 2020 draft season is here. I mean, we are here finally. So it's exciting to talk to you guys, exciting to be back on the mic and ready to dive into the show.
All right, no further ado. We're going to go over the buy-ins, what we think about all the declarations that we have thus far. We're going to go through some that are going, some that are staying, and just kind of let you guys know what we think you should do with these guys. Because some of them, I mean, these are still Devy players. If you have them on your rosters, they are still Devy. We're kind of sort of going to transition into 2021, but these are still Devy guys. And I've seen a lot of Devy trades go off in the last couple of days, and these guys are ones that are going to be moving. So first up, we're going to go through the guys that declared. First quarterback that we have declaring was Jordan Love from Utah State. And Ray, I'm curious your thoughts are on Mr. Love.
Yeah, I'm buying Jordan Love. I think that his tape and his production in 2018 was obviously a heck of a lot better than it was in 2019, but the talent is there. I don't think that he is somebody that you want running your offense day one, but I think if he lands in a situation, let's just say the New Orleans Saints or a team with an established quarterback that allows him to sit behind a starter for a year or two, I think you may have something in Jordan Love. It's funny because at the beginning of this college football season, people were like, that's QB2 behind Tua. There were some people out there who really were high on Jordan Love. So a lot can change in a season, but I'm still buying the arm talent. I'm still buying the physical tools, and the cost that you have to pay for him, even in a super flex league, probably isn't that high. So I'm willing to take a risk on a talent like Love.
Matt, you're in the same boat too, right?
Oh, and mostly for Ray's last point, his value or his price is not that high right now. And you guys know the quarterback game, and I've been a little more critical of Love throughout the year just because I've watched him a couple more times, make some boneheaded decisions and does some things. But he's a quarterback. He's going to get drafted no later than day 2, I wouldn't imagine, if not, sooner than that. And that's going to shoot that value up. This process, his name, all of those things. So now is probably the best time to buy this offseason. He'll cost way more come June, July, August for sure.
Right. That would probably be the only caveat to mine. I'm actually selling, but the reason I'm selling is I just don't see it, and I think it is going to be critical what team he lands on. At the same time, you guys are right, though. His value is not exactly the highest right now. If you get somebody that's enamored with his traits and is enamored thinking he's the locked-in quarterback 3 in this class, then I think I would probably try to sell. But I see your point totally. I have a lot of doubts that he's ever going to be anything at the NFL level. And next up, Jacob Eason from Washington. Matt, we'll let you start out with him. What are you taking? What's your stance on Mr. Eason?
I'm buying, and it's similar as Jordan Love, where his value is lower now, and I feel like it's going to increase over this offseason process. Also watched him a handful of times. He makes some, stare downs of his wide receiver ones, but has a ton of the intangibles, has a ton of upside. And I feel like he also, like Love, would benefit from sitting a year. I don't know if he'll get that opportunity or not. But I feel like he can grow into a really good quarterback in the NFL, as an NFL quarterback getting out of that college system. So I think that value will continue to rise, probably a slower burn. It could see like a Drew Lock type thing where he comes in and maybe sits for most of the year and then all of a sudden just spikes, or not spikes, but shoots up drastically. So I think he shows a ton of ability, a ton of promise, has the pedigree, all those other stuff. But his value is low enough now that you should be buying going into this process.
Hi, Ray. What do you think on Eason?
Just all value. I think his arm talent is there. The same sentiments that Matt echoed with Jordan Love. I think you can say the same thing with Eason. There's boneheaded decisions sometimes, and there are times where he just puts the ball on an absolute rope. His arm talent is there. The pedigree is there. He leaves a lot there's a lot left to be desired with him and Jordan Love. But if you're telling me that I can get Jacob Eason the end of a second in a super flex league, maybe even the third, Daniel Jones, people were staying away from him and Drew Lock last year. So you're telling me I can get a quarterback in the third round or, late second, then I'm all about that value, because the cheapest place you can get a quarterback is at the draft. And after that, good luck.
Oh, absolutely, man. I'm on the same boat as you guys too. He's just a value. He's a value right now. So I'm not going to go any deeper into that. Next up, the guy that declared today, the one that had his own press conference. I was excited that he just kind of got it and went to it after we listened to Saban going off for about 10 minutes there. Mr. Tua Tagovailoa. I don't even know if I say that right. Everybody just calls him Tua, baby. So I'll let you lead this off, Ray. What are you doing with Mr. Tua?
Somebody's car is going off in the background. I am all over Tua. I love this kid. Ever since he took the field as a true freshman down there at Alabama, I've been all about Tua. It's really funny how our opinions can change in one season. Coming into 2019, he was the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck. He was this, and then Joe Burrow has a ridiculous season and not taking a thing away from him. And then now it's Tua's not that good. And you just go look at the stat sheet and it's 386-4, 415-5, 392-4, like week after week after week. This kid is fantastic. I want him. The fact that he was walking without crutches and didn't even have like a noticeable limp, that was encouraging. I'm not a doctor, but when he had the injury, it made it seem like that he had amputated his whole lower half and he would just be like a nub out there on the field. So to actually see him walking and looking like Tua, man, I'm all over Tua. For me, if he's not a top 3 pick in super flex leagues, you're tripping.
Right. That James Kutulas, I think, James the Brain had those. Yeah, Kutulas. There you go. had those rookie mocks, the Superflex that he's been doing, and Tua went at 107. I'm like, y'all are freaking nuts, man. Just absolutely nuts. That's just silly. That's the craziest thing. And if you can get him, like you said, anywhere past 103, just Merry Christmas, baby. But Matt, how are you? Are you in the same boat with Bai and Tua?
Bye. He's one of my favorite players in college football right now. I'm begging and praying that he could somehow end up in Las Vegas, if that's even feasible, if they trade up for him. I don't know. But I love Tua. Polynesian people are built different. I'm not surprised that he's walking around already. You know what I mean? He's just a warrior, and I love him. And, wouldn't be crazy to say that he's the best quarterback in this draft class. It's just unfortunate how the tail end of this thing ended up and how well Bro did, and good for him. But I'm going to enjoy getting to the middle to late round, in first round drafts in some of these leagues for sure.
Right. And I don't know if you guys each had a thought on this. Brandon Lejeune asked us if we think that Bryce Young will start next year for Alabama as the talented incoming freshman, correct? I didn't even look that up, but I believe he's the incoming freshman, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's still in high school right now.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
But do
you guys think? Yeah, do you think he's going to start next year, or is it going to be Tailua? Tailua? I don't know how you pronounce these Polynesian names. I should just always defer to Matt on those. So
yeah, he's Tualia. I don't know. I saw Ray shaking his head too. I don't think that they'd give Bryce. I was going to call him Bryce Love. I don't think they're going to give Bryce Young the nod in his freshman season yet. Not out the gate, anyways. That just doesn't seem like a Saban type thing. He's done it before. I don't know. We'll see. I wouldn't expect Bryce to be the starter come September.
Nope.
Not quite yet.
Nope.
I
think it's Mac. I think it's Mac Jones.
Yeah, me too. I was gonna say him. I've heard. I haven't got a chance to watch the younger Tagovailoa play. However you said his name. I haven't seen him play, but I don't think he's that as like well sought after or anything. I didn't think he was as highly regarded. So yeah,
I'd say it's Mac Jones's to lose, and at some point he'll probably be surpassed by Bryce Young, but not at the gate. I wouldn't imagine. Did you guys get a chance to see the All-American game the other day? I think it was on Sunday.
He's good, man.
Bro, him and DJU, it just showcasing DJU's arm hit. I love it, man. We got some good stuff to talk about over the coming years. Yeah. And this is fantastic.
I was gonna say DJ, and they couldn't be two polar opposites in body size. DJU is what 6'6", 250, and Bryce Young is 5'11", 190. But
yeah,
they are both. They're gonna be fun, man, and more so than Tua. I think Bryce Young is going to change the way Alabama plays because he's a lot more dangerous on the ground than Tua ever was. I mean, he will roll out on you and be gone. So this is going to be fun.
Right. All right, Matt. What's DJU's last name? Come on,
man. I was trying to say it again the other day, but I'm going to leave that. That one's got too many vowels in it. That thing has got.
I think there's 8 vowels and 2 consonants.
Anyway. I'll respect that, man, and just leave it at you for now.
All right, man. That's all they're going to need to put on the back of his uniform. Just DJU, baby. All right. Next up, running backs. First big name, Cam Akers declared. Not a huge surprise, and we're all on board buying with him. Matt, why do you want to buy Cam Akers, man?
Because he's a stud and he's undervalued. I mean, simple as that. There's a really good cut up by this guy named Destination Devy, I think it is, on YouTube. If y'all heard of him, I think his name's Ray GQ. But Cam Akers is really good at football. He's a really good running back, and he's growing as a running back. That's he's still growing in this position. He hasn't been doing this his whole life. He's a football player, but he has so many intangibles, really good vision, good burst, good agility, all the things you want, and behind one of the most atrocious offensive lines over the past couple of years, and was still balling. So there is something to be said for that. Like, I love always playing that game. If you would put him in Wisconsin and flip flops with Jonathan Taylor, golly, right? It was that whole thing. Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith, do the flip flop, see what that looks like. I don't know. So I love where his value's at because he's undervalued still. And even in the Dynasty Happy Hour podcast, he went at the tail end of the first which is beautiful. And it also is a testament to how many good players are in this draft. But man, I'll be real happy if I'm, finishing in the top 2 or 3 in a league and getting him at the tail end of my first round draft. That's fantastic.
I think you've got to buy him before the draft if you're going to get him, because if he lands in one of those sweet landing spots we always talk about, yeah, you ain't going to get him at 110. So is that where you're at too, Ray?
Yeah, I think you got to buy him before the combine. I mean, his size, adjusted speed, he's going to test really well. And I think he's a classic case of production behind a bad offensive line and NFL offensive coordinators to say, what if we get this guy behind a semi-competent offensive line? He can do it all, pass the ball, catch the ball. I'm very intrigued. I think he went 110 in that mock that Tyler and those guys did. So if I could, like Matt said, if I can get him 110, 111, sign me up any day. Big fan of Akers.
Yep, he went 109 in the James the Brains one, but that was also super flex. So yeah, cool. All right, another one I think we're all on board with buying is DeAndre Swift, another guy. I think too many people are sleeping on the stats, that he hasn't put up the gaudy stats that Jonathan Taylor and J.K. Dobbins have, and if you want to get hung up on that, get hung up, sell him to me, baby. Is that where you're at, Ray?
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to go. He's RB1 for me. I'm sorry, he's RB1.
Right. And another guy who's in probably the same exact boat as Jonathan Taylor. I mean, you think if you're going to buy him, you're going to want to buy him now before he lands in a good spot. He's one I'm a little more bullish on. But Matt, are you a hard buy on Jonathan Taylor?
So man, it's interesting. I'm a buy because I feel like he's also being undervalued right now. As weird as that is, coming off another 2,000-yard season. He's being kicked out of the way by J.K. Dobbins, which I love J.K., but it's one of those things like you got to kind of trust your own evaluation throughout the big picture. So from preseason through the season to tail end of the season, and not just throw out everything that happened before that. You know what I mean? So JT was considered RB1 or in the conversation for RB1. We can't just now say he's not even in top tier at all. You know what I'm saying? And I'm seeing that happen. So like the value is now he's a buy where before he was almost impossible to buy. So it's a weird deal that he's in right now, but I feel like it will jump back up again once we get to the NFL draft. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because these big four are all, kind of waiting on those landing spots, and everybody wants to go back and forth on them. And I didn't have this on the list, but J.K. Dobbins did also declare, and he's a hard buy for me as well. Before you get that landing spot, and if he lands in one of those prime ones, he's going to be almost impossible to buy. So are you guys on the same page with that, Matt? Or Ray? Sorry.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You said JK, right?
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins, sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, gosh, he's almost becoming a sell right this minute just because of how he's shot up boards over the past month and a half. You know what I mean? When the spotlight got on Ohio State and everyone was able to see. But it's kind of a weird deal where it's just timing where right now you probably, if you own him in Devy leagues, people are probably trying to hit you up because he's the hottest running back out there, where he's being taken over DeAndre Swift. So it's almost an opportunity to sell right now, but then turn around and try and buy again in a few months kind of deal. So it's just weird because his value has significantly spiked. And we've talked about this before where when you get these players that hit that 101 mark or whatever, is it ever going to go back up again? So it's like, is it time to shop? So you might want to shop them if you got them right now.
Right, that mock that I've been talking about, Swift went second, Taylor went third, and Dobbins went fifth. And then ETN at 8 and Akers at 9. So
no, that's fair, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's probably going to hold pretty well true before landing spots, So, yeah, Ray, you got anything to add on that, man?
Yeah, and real quick, just going back to Taylor, JT, I'm definitely buying. I think that sometimes when you have players who have just produced at such a high level for years on end, you become fatigued. You just get fatigued and you take those performances for granted. You take their talent for granted, and the new hotness sort of, leapfrogs them. I'm working on a prospect play video of JT now, and man, I'm just watching him. He looks faster than DeAndre Swift. He looks faster than J.K. Like when he hits the open field, he's gone. and his feet are fantastic. And we think about the one thing that we asked him to do: can you catch the ball? Can you catch the ball? Well, damn it, he caught the ball way better than he did ever before. Like, what has he done, to push him down draft boards? The only concern I have, and we all have it, the mileage and the fumbling issues. And he had another one of those fumbles in the Rose Bowl. You can't put the ball on the ground. But I'm buying JT still, and I'm actually selling J.K. Dobbins. I know everybody is in love with what he's done, and I think he's a good all-around running back. But I don't see anything special from him. He can catch the ball. He's good at running the ball. He's powerful. He's got some speed, but I don't see Ezekiel Elliott. Stop it. A lot of people are making that comparison to Zeke. They're not even in the same class to me. I don't think he's better than DeAndre Swift. I don't think he's better than Jonathan Taylor. And I'm very close to saying I may take Travis Etienne before I take J.K. Dobbins, and that's not taking anything away from J.K. I just really think I'm fine with him, but I just don't see like game changer at the next level. I see a very good running back. I see a fine player, but I don't see game changer. When I look at Etienne, he's got game changing ability. DeAndre Swift, how he's used in an offense, game changer. Jonathan Taylor, just as a pure runner, game changer. J.K. Dobbins, solid back. Unpopular opinion, but that's just what I see.
Dang, that's what we're here for, man. Yeah, I like it. And yeah, I see the value on JT also dropping because of what you said. There are people that want to say fumbling, mileage. Fine. You're only going to get 4 awesome years out of him. Whatever. Trade some. I don't know would be a good trade target for him. Like an older back that's still got a couple good years left on him. Trade him for JT then. Screw it. If somebody wants to get rid of him, they're worried about him, grab him, buy him. So, all right, we'll go into some of the other names here, like the next couple tiers down and stuff. So, Benjamin, a guy who was really high going into the season, he is declared. Matt, what do you want to do with Eno?
This is a value pick here. Like we talked about the Dynasty Happy Hour mock they just did with Ryan McDowell. He went undrafted in 2 rounds. And not that Eno is a, world changer, all the other stuff, but he's a value right now. So I am trying to acquire him as the value that he is. Less than a year ago, he was going at the tail end of first, early second. And so this is a great time to buy. And wait for that landing spot, see what happens. Hope he gets a shot in camp somewhere, gets factored in somewhere in an NFL situation. But I think he's just a good buy opportunity based on value today.
Right, and because of that value, why would you want to sell him, right? Right? Oh, sorry, man.
Would you say? I couldn't hear you, Dwight.
Oh, and because of now knowing that his value is depressed, why are you selling him, right? Benjamin. I
don't, I like Eno. I like Eno. I just don't know if Eno's I want a 3-down back. It depends on where it's at, right? If you're saying that his value's depressed to what, the mid-second? Okay, I'm fine. Early second, no thank you. Late first, no thank you. Mid-second, late second round, I would take him. But even, what if Eno lands with Kansas City? I still wouldn't. I just don't. I don't think he's that at the next level. I just don't. Not right away. So I'm just a little skeptical, and I like Eno, but I think he's more complimentary than feature. So we'll see how that plays out.
That's kind of where I am. If you can sell him for some value, I would do it because of what you said. I think he won't ever be like an everyday starter. So here's some other names that come out. Ahmed. Sorry, geez, I'm terrible at names. Ahmed from Jesus Christ.
What do I meant to say was Salvin Ahmed, I think is how it's pronounced, to be honest.
It's Ahmed, yes.
Washington.
And he is in Washington State, which is a little bit more west of Wisconsin, but I hear you.
Gotcha. And I am actually buying Ahmed because I think he is a value, and he's a name that probably a lot of people don't know a whole lot about. And I like a lot of what I see about him. I'm not sure he'll ever be an every down player, but I really think he could in the right situation. I like his toughness, the way he runs, the cutting, I just love him. So he's a guy I would buy, although I do have doubts, but I don't think you'd have to pay much to get him. So I don't know. We'll go out to the man in the West who knows how to pronounce his name. Matt, what's your opinion on Savard?
I think your take there was fair, and maybe this kind of goes back to what Ray was saying with Eno. I just don't know what that looks like, I guess. So if you could find someone to sell him to, I might do that. But because this is a Devy show, I'd like to mention that his backup now, or counterpart for a little bit, Richard Newton, I believe his name is a stud, and he is somebody to watch up there in the next season. And he's a buy opportunity. So real fast caveat: look for his number 28, I believe. And I want to say the last name is Newton. I don't know why it's escaping me, but that kid's good, man. So that's a buy opportunity there. But for Ahmed, I think I'm just not sold, and I guess some of his greatest attributes were the speed game, but some of the other stuff just wasn't popping for me. So I guess he's got some really good traits though, and it could translate. I guess it just depends on where it's going to be at.
All right, I was a little surprised he declared. Definitely one of them. Ray, what do you think about him?
All right, no one's buying him, so you might as well just hold him. Like if you have him, or if you can pick him up late, I don't think you're getting any time. Like, what are you going to get in return for him? And that's not to knock him. So I'd rather take his speed and in that potential Boston Scott role, that change of pace satellite back role. I'd rather just hold him, taxi him, let him sit on the end of the bench and see if you have something later on. But no one's paying you anything worth selling, so you might as well hold him.
All right. We're going to dart through some of these other names here pretty quick. Yeah. Kylan Hill, Mississippi State. Ray, are you buying or selling him?
Sell.
Right. I'm in the same boat too. I don't see it. But Matt actually is buying. So Matt, what do you see in Kylan, man?
I like his tenacity. He runs hard. He runs angry. I said before, he kind of reminds me of John Kelly, with maybe a little more talent than John Kelly. I think he's a buy because if you can get into a situation, his value's low. So when we talk about these guys who their values are low, I'm looking to buy if I can. But if he can get into a camp, and last year we were gooing and gone over like a Darwin Thompson, but if you can get a situation where he can creep into a spot where he's competing for a 2 spot or whatever else, and he becomes that waiver wire ad that everyone wished they had, I can see that. I can see that kind of scenario going down. So he's a buy for me because I think his talent is actually good. He just hasn't had a whole lot of opportunity to showcase it. So, and he's been getting better, in my opinion. He improved a lot from last year to this year. So I like where he's trending.
Right. All right. How about Darrington Evans in Appalachian State? Ray, what do you got on him, man?
Yeah, buying him, man. Decent looking guy. Like Matt just made the name, said the name Darwin Thompson. I think he's somebody that you can get late. You probably don't even have to draft. If you're paying attention, you can pick him up off waivers after your rookie draft. He's somebody I think, stash him on the bench. Maybe later in the season he gets a shot, but I like this talent. I like the talent and the tape that I've seen from Appalachian State.
Right. I liked a lot about what I saw him too. He could get a guy that could fall into like a Chris Carson type role. Like all of a sudden he's a starter. And he would be a pretty darn good starter. Probably not ever like a world beater starter, but it's still a starting running back. So I liked watching him play a lot this year. Every time I'd watch Appalachian State, you just see him. He's just a hell of a runner. So Matt, you same on board with him, man?
I'm with you all. Yeah, I did a quick thread on him maybe a month ago. And what's cool is that his dad replied to me on that, who is a speed coach, which makes a lot of sense now to know that Darrington is so fast and so good at what he does. But, man, I'm rooting for the guy. I think he's a great talent. So I would love to see him be able to get an opportunity to get in camp and kind of make a name for himself.
Right. This is a polarizing name on Twitter. AJ Dillon from Boston College. Yeah, he's a hard sell for me. If anybody's going to pay for him, I don't know if you guys are in the same boat. I just see a plotter.
I'm out. He's a name. He's a name though. Like he brings way more name value than a Darrington Evans, than a Kylan Hill even. And so there is something there. Like if you have him, you may be able to sell him for something. I'm not buying though. I don't want to pay what people want. So no, it's a sell.
Yeah, some people love him to death, man. I think Kane's really high on him. So
yeah.
I just don't see it, man. Like
I go sour cream and onion chips way over AJ Dillon. Not even close.
I don't know if everybody wants to find that next Derrick Henry, but he is not it. So All right, a couple cats from Maryland, Javon Leake and Anthony McFarland, both declared. I don't think anybody has any sort of interest in Leake at all. McFarland is slightly enticing. I don't know. What do you think, Matt?
I don't know, man. Like I was watching Javon Leake film today. Nothing is popping for me. Nothing was even really. I mean, it wasn't even really holding my attention that much. So like that's a fade for me. And Anthony McFarland is one of those guys where his value is also depressed so much from what it was in the offseason last year that he might be worth a stab on trying to buy if you can get him for cheap. But even at that, like I'm not sold. So I don't know. Not super interested. I'm not out trying to attain these guys.
Right, Ray?
Nah, I was a little higher on McFarland coming into the season, but a smaller running back who really hasn't demonstrated that pass catching acumen. I'm fine. I mean, again, McFarland is one of those names a lot of people don't know, so I don't think you'll be able to get any kind of return on trying to sell him. So you might as well hold on to him. But I'm not buying. I'm not buying either.
See, I might buy him if he was just a throw-in or something. I like him, but I have to worry. What I wonder is why didn't he get more carries? Why was he never the man? Like what was holding them back? I know Leake is okay, but he didn't seem anywhere near as good as McFarland. So I'm a little apprehensive, but if I can get him super cheap, I might get him just to throw him deep on a taxi squad somewhere and see where it pans out. DJ Dallas, I put it down the list, but I don't. Yeah, I have no interest in DJ Dallas at all. I'm surprised he came out, honestly. So
yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Same with Tony Jones Jr. from Notre Dame. I was surprised he came out, and I know he had the draft pedigree and he had this, he had some flashes there, but I was kind of surprised he entered. Matt Ray, you got anything on him?
I'm with you. I'm kind of surprised. There was nothing flashy. It's weird though. He had several games where he had a pretty good stat line at the end of the game. The box score looked nice, but when you go back and watch the game, you're like, where does it even come from? So it's nothing about it that like feels like, oh man, like this, that's a player. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Not too interested.
Right. All right, let's get over to the wide receivers, guys. Really good names here. We'll have a lot more better conversation here, I believe. A lot more better. I'm good at English. First up, Lynn Bowden Jr. from Kentucky. Ray, sell us on this guy, man. I love this cat.
Yes, Lynn Bowden Jr. is a good player. He dynamic athlete. True home is going to be at wide receiver. Really sort of that Swiss Army knife, though. Was a wide receiver and actually put up pretty good production stats as a sophomore. Injuries all over the Kentucky offense. They move him to quarterback. He balls out at like this quarterback, running back hybrid position. He's 6'1", 200 pounds, fast, fluid athlete. I think he gets on the field right away. Offensive coordinator will probably have to manufacture touches for him early on. But I think he's somebody that can develop into a nice role player and maybe somebody you look at what Taysom Hill is doing in New Orleans right now. I'm not saying Lynn Bowden and Taysom Hill are the same type of player. Hill is much bigger, but if he can be utilized in a role like that where he's getting, 3 of those jet motion handoffs a game and he catches 2 to 3 passes and then they give him a couple of, he can be a piece on your dynasty team. So I think his stock is going to skyrocket, during the pre-draft process, his versatility and just that raw potential. I'm a big fan of Bowden Jr.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jay Mike Check on the Lynn Bowden Jr., man. He's a big Kentucky fan, I know. But, you guys know I'm a fan of football players over football stats most of the time. Obviously, fantasy, I want to win me some games, but I love football players. And this cat is a football player through and through. That's a guy I want to play with. You know what I mean? So I get real excited when I see a guy who's lining up out wide one year, the next year he's lining up at quarterback in a completely different setup. Balling too, not just being, not just filling in, but balling. He was doing really, really good. I think he's still a buy, even though his name has shot up drastically. But I still think it hasn't hit like the average fan yet, or whatever else. You know what I mean? So, it's easy to throw like a Randall Cobb type deal because he was also at Kentucky, but Randall Cobb was all over the place and used as a multi-tool, like Ray's talking about. I hope that he gets on a team that will get creative with him and not just line him up in like a slot or not just line him up as a receiver. Play around with the man, run him in, fly sweeps and options and everything else that they're doing now. Like in one of these situations, like it seemed like in Houston or something, just being used because they can't have a healthy receivers to save their life. So have a guy like that who can play multiple ways. I don't know, man. So I'm excited. I hope for the best for him. I've become a fan over this past year.
How fun would he be with Lamar Jackson?
Oh my goodness.
In the backfield, you'd never know where the hell the ball was going, man. That would be so much fun. He's a big buy for me. All right, Ray, this next one is for you. First round talent, Donovan Peoples-Jones from Michigan. What do you want to do with DPJ, baby?
Sell DPJ for a king's ransom. Top 32 pick. I mean, just no. Listen, not buying him. No one's paying that price for him. He had 34 receptions this year. No, thank you. I mean, I'm not. He's a talented wide receiver. Okay, he is talented. I'm not taking that away from him. But top 32, no. I really don't know what anybody would pay for him to be. If you could sell Donovan Peoples-Jones for a second or whatever it is because of the hype of somebody who has over 250,000 followers, then please do that. Please do that. But I'm fine. I'm all right.
It seemed like he was routinely outplayed by Nico Collins and Ronnie Bell, and just never got the targets. And he's a guy that came in with so much hype. I believe he's a 5-star guy and like one of the top in the class, and just never seemed to really pan out. So that there is the talent there. So he may be something someday. Maybe one of those guys that gets in, takes 3 years to to really show out. But yeah, I'm selling him too if you can get that price.
I don't know if it's a hyphenated name or what, but all I can think of is Dorial Green Beckham. You know what I mean? It's that where there's more hype than anything. But I'm with you guys.
All right, we'll bounce over to LaVisca Chenault from Colorado. Matt, what are you doing with LaVisca?
Buying him, man. He's too good of a football player, and his value has dropped. And I know that's been raised. Kind of main caveat with him all year long was where his value was, where you had to buy him versus what he was, and now his value is lower than what his actual value is. His buying value is better than what his actual value is. So I think you need to buy him before the NFL draft because it will pay off dramatically after that draft's over with and he's taken day one.
Right. Ray, you buying also, man?
Yeah, Matt talked about this on an episode that we had months ago. He's a hell of a football player. And let me tell you, if he can stay on the field 14 out of the 16 games of the season, he's going to be really good because you get the ball in his hands and he's dynamic, he's explosive, he's big, he's physical. He's a good football player. And now that his ADP or his value is dipped from top 5 pick to maybe back into the first, early part of the second, I'm all about LaVisca Chenault.
Right. Same boat, guys. Same guys. Can't disagree with that. Next big name we got up here, CeeDee Lamb from Oklahoma. Everybody is on board with buying here. Ray, I'm not going to ask you to talk about CeeDee anymore because you'll probably end up putting that provocative tweet on your Twitter again. So, Matt, what are you doing with CeeDee, man?
So I'm obviously I want him. He's going to be a top 2 receiver in this class. It's him or Judy for the argument. So based off of that, it's one of those things. If you can get a hell of a return, then I would be looking, not necessarily looking to sell, but I will be entertaining offers if I own him right now. So just because it's peak and there's going to be people out there who are adamant that he's the wide receiver one and let him come pay for it. So I would be entertaining offers. I don't necessarily want to sell him, but I would be listening for sure.
Right. I can understand that. There's always that caveat, but if somebody wants to sell him and is worried about him and I will absolutely 100% take him from you. He's going to be the man for quite a while. Where you're at, Ray?
I'm just going to post that. I'm going to post that video.
Your wife does not look at your Twitter, does she?
Not while I'm awake.
She's like, what is this, Ray? Good Lord.
She's going to send you to the gym if you post that again.
I know.
All right. We're going to bounce over to another one of Ray's guys, Jalen Reagor from TCU. Ray says, take all my money.
Take it all. I'm buying. I mean, honestly, hell, for where he's going, I mean, it's second round of. I don't get how some people are just. And again, I cannot stress this enough. It is Alabama bias. Alabama just you see it and it's ingrained so much. But if you are a fan of Henry Ruggs, if you were a fan of John Ross and that speed, if you were a fan of McCole Hart, Jalen Reagor is a better wide receiver than all of those guys. He's a better wide receiver prospect than Ruggs. The analytics say it. Broke out as a sophomore, 18 years old, produced over 1,000 yards in that TCU offense. I know he had a down 2019, but he still received over 40% market share of the receptions, the yards that they did produce on offense, and he's going to run 4.3 and potentially, and this is news. Reagor told me himself, he legitimately told me, nobody is faster than him. He said he is going to run the fastest time at the combine. Those are words from that man, Jalen Reagor himself, to GQ. I don't know. We'll see. But, his 0 to 60 is ridiculous. If you want speed, if you want a versatile player who's going to give you – Henry Ruggs didn't return punts. Henry Ruggs wasn't taking, handoffs out of the backfield. Jalen Reagor is a more explosive version of Percy Harvin. And Percy Harvin in the NFL before the concussion history was freaking good. Go look at that season when he had a legitimate quarterback in Brett Favre and how good and dynamic Percy Harvin was. That is Jalen Reagor. But Jalen Reagor is faster than Percy Harvin, and he's a better wide receiver than Percy Harvin. I'm buying Reagor. And if you get him in the second round, you hit a home run. Home run.
Yeah, I've seen some people have him as low as wide receiver 10. And I'm like, y'all are crack, man. Just straight up crack. That's just crazy. So yes, he's one that, crack. He's going to murder the combine. Like he is just not just the speed. His 3 cone should be just like sub 6, maybe. I don't even know. It's going to be silly. So your window to get him is going to close.
Fun fact too, because you're right. He's going to crush the entire combine in high school. At one point in time during his senior season, during track season, he held the national, the top spot in the United States of America for the long jump. That's just how explosive he is. This is a football player. Nobody in the nation had a further long jump. I mean, somebody ended up beating it, but at one point in time, he had the national lead in the long jump in high school. I mean, he is that explosive of an athlete. It's going to be fun to watch him.
That's legit.
Excellent. We're both right on board. We'll jump over to the next one. Henry Ruggs from Alabama. He just declared this afternoon. Matt, what are you doing with Mr. Ruggs, man?
I don't think I typed anything in because we posted it late, but Ruggs is almost a sell right now because of the value and the name and everything else that goes with that. It's obviously a bump today too because he declares. I like the player a lot, but this kind of goes back to everything that Ray just said. I would rather buy a Reagor 6 to 8 picks later than I would Ruggs where he's going at right now. So if you can get some return on that, then I'm about it. If not, then if I could buy him for a decent price, I'm doing that too. So he's kind of depends on the audience kind of player for me, but just based off of value alone, give me Reagor a couple picks later.
Right. That's exactly the same boat I'm in. I have a couple Devy leagues where guys are treating Ruggs like he's just gold. And I love the speed, and the NFL is going to love that speed. But if he doesn't do what, like Tyreek does with that speed, what if he does what Will Fuller does, like where he's just has those games here and there where he's great. I think he's more complete. The more I've watched of him, the more I like of him. But there's always going to be that in the back of my head that I'm not actively buying him, but if someone wants to give me a crazy price, I will sell him. But Ray, I know you're a big Ruggs guy, right?
Yeah, I'm still and just because I'm a bigger Reagor fan doesn't mean I'm not a big Ruggs fan. I think Ruggs' ceiling is absolutely ridiculous as well. I do have some concerns. Some of these analytic guys have made me think, if he never commanded the lion's share, the market share of targets and receptions on his own team, how do we expect him to do that at the next level? Now, I could counter that with a variety of things, but I'll just say I do have concerns about him being a number one at the next level. Maybe his role is Will Fuller esque. And think about Will Fuller when he's on the field. I mean, you've got yourself a wide receiver two. In some weeks, he's going to give you wide receiver one, elite wide receiver one production because he just takes the top off of a defense. I think players like Ruggs, players like Will Fuller, players like Nicole Hardman, they serve a very good purpose, a very useful purpose in fantasy. And depending on how many flex positions you have, I'm in a dynasty league where we have 6 flex positions and super flex plus 6. I mean, you almost have to treat some of those like a best ball position, and you get you one of those guys like a Fuller or Ruggs and just throw them in the lineup, knowing that you might have a low floor week, but you very well may have a blow up week as well. So I think he's got to roll at the next level, and I like his talent.
All right, excellent. Another guy that's getting a lot of hype right now, and we're all going to put on the sell train, is KJ Hamler from Penn State. Matt, real quick, do you want to just go into him
and see? This goes with is strictly on perception because I haven't watched a ton of Hamler. I mean, you guys know I haven't been focusing a ton of time out there. I just see his name blowing up, and I've seen a little bit of stuff and some highlights. I haven't dug into the film, but seeing what I'm seeing, looking around on the Twitter landscape, I'd be selling today based off of that hype that I'm seeing, on my side of the country. So as I dig in more, maybe I change my stance there a little bit, but he is the hotness right now.
Right. Yeah. You Ray in the same boat, man.
Yeah. I mean, I like him. I'm not all aboard like that, but yeah.
Yeah. I see just a role player. Yeah. Like he'll have some good games and stuff, but yeah, I don't know. I do want to go over this name. We're getting down to the juts here, and we kind of we're getting a little long on time, so we got to kind of tie up a little bit quicker on some of these. But Isaiah Hodgins from Oregon State's a buy for all three of us. Ray, why is he a buy for you, man?
Just he's somebody that, what's he going to go in dynasty rookie drafts, 3rd round, something like that, late 2nd, 3rd round. And he's good. He's a prototypical X receiver. He's 6'4", over 200 pounds, and he's the king of the double move. Just watch his tapes and watch he's physical. He's one of those guys, Matt. I know you'll get on board, and I'll let you talk about it. You're not staying up watching Oregon State play, Washington State, when you're on the East Coast or the Midwest. So a lot of people just don't know this guy's name, but he's a baller, man. I'm all aboard the Hodgins train.
Yep, Matt.
Yeah, I'm with it for sure because he has size, great size, but he's also fast. He's athletic. He's tough. If not to put these guys in the same boat, but if everybody loves Rashad Bateman right now, and Rashad Bateman is going to cost you a early first round Devy pick, you can get Isaiah Hodgins in the 3rd. We're talking about maybe 3rd round of these rookie drafts this year. Very similar skill set, very similar abilities. Who knows on the landing spot, but I'm a fan. I think that guy is significantly underrated right now. And doing these NFL mocks that we were talking about, seeing him available in the 5th, 6th round, these NFL drafts, I don't expect it. And if it is, it's a screaming buy. But I'm a big fan, man. I think he is on the ascent for sure right now.
Right. A guy up north that I really like a lot is Quentin Cephas who declared for Wisconsin. Matt, you put down you're a buy. He's a buy for you too. He's just kind of getting hot at the right time. He's got great hands, great hands. He's really comfortable catching the ball away from his body, and he high points and boxes out corners really well. You like a lot of what you see about him. He doesn't, he's just kind of coming on the radar. Had some legal troubles last year, playing an offense in Wisconsin that is not known for passing the ball very much. But what I've seen of him, I absolutely love him. I think you could probably UDFA possibly. I don't even know if he'll get drafted in the first 4 rounds of your rookie draft. And a guy that could find a home is, a solid wide receiver 3 type, I think. So, and then another guy down south. Sorry, guys, I'm going to kind of blaze through this. If you got anything on Quintez, you can stop me. But Gabriel Davis from UCF, Matt and I put him as a buy. We'll defer to Ray down south. What do you think of Gabriel, man?
Have not studied his tape in depth yet, but his production numbers there at UCF look good, and he's got that size. I like some of those bigger wide receivers. In the games that I had seen him play, he looked good, big and fast. So I think Gabe Davis is somebody Majority of your casual dynasty leaguers have no clue who he is. His ADP is probably not going to be high. So if you listen to the show, if you listen to DDP, you'll be able to get a gem later in your rookie drafts and potentially really, really late. So I like Gabe Davis.
All right, I think it was that game against I think it was against Cincinnati. I'm thinking late there in the season where he had like 15 catches for 220 yards. It was just, he put on an absolute clinic. So,
and he in that same game, he required so much attention from the defense. I remember there was a string of plays. It was 3 straight targets he got. None of the balls were very good. Oh, my dog's crying outside the door. Sorry. None of the attempts were really that well, but they just had to keep feeding him. And the defense, I mean, it was so apparent. Like lining up, he's looking over. They're like, okay, we're going to Gabe again. We're going to Gabe again. It was 3 straight attempts where none of the balls were great, and he still was out there just doing acrobatic, even attempts to catch the football. I was like, man, you're selling me on not even these catches. You know what I mean? It's the stuff that doesn't show up on a highlight tape is what really kind of defines some of these players. And it was his not even catching footballs, trying to get these trash ducks. And I'm a fan, man. He's a good player.
Yeah, he's a good possession guy. Like if he could find a spot in the slot, oh my God. So anyways, a couple of the names real quick that declared: Courtney Davis from Texas A&M, Tristan Jackson from Syracuse, Jeff Thomas from Miami. None of those guys move the needle at all for me. I don't know if you guys have anything on those 3.
Nope.
All righty. Tight ends, baby. This isn't the greatest tight end class. The big name that was thought to come back next year, Cole Kmet from Notre Dame, is probably the biggest guy coming, one of the biggest names in the class, probably not the biggest anymore. But I think the guys on Stick to Football did talk about them. All 3 of them had them in their top 30 prospects, which I thought was kind of interesting. Because, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot of – Ray got him as a sell for you, and I was kind of curious what your thoughts on Cole was.
I don't even remember putting that there. I think somebody changed my response.
He was a stay, so I moved him from staying to that's all I did, man. So I don't know.
No, I'm buying him. He's fine. I mean, I'm not. To be honest with you, the tight end position outside of like T.J. Hawkinson, Noah Fant type athletic freaks, I'm just not even. I'm not spending top 3 round rookie draft capital on a tight end. So I feel like I can get him or Hopkins or some Harrison Bryant or Adam. I'll get somebody off the waiver wire, or I'll take somebody with the last pick in the 4th round. But I think he's a good player. I think he's right up there with Bryson Hopkins as tight end 1. So
Right. He's a guy that can do everything. So he may not be the one that lights up your stat sheets. That's the only thing I worry about him. Hunter Bryant. What does Hunter Bryant do for you, Matt?
He gets me a return when I sell him. I feel bad. Like I want to go find things I like because I feel like he's gonna get decent draft capital. So I'm trying to not like hate him, but I just don't. I don't know. It doesn't do it for me. You've heard me say it before. I'm not thrilled that his undersized frame doesn't have better athleticism and better ability. You got to have one or the other, and it bugs me that he doesn't have that. If he was bigger and not as athletic and not as agile, then I'd be okay with that. But it's not. You don't want bolts or short ends of the stick there. So I'm just not a big fan, and I know some people are still really big on it. I feel like that's like a name that gets tossed into every tight end 1 category that there is, and that's fine. And somebody else can like him more than me, but I would tell that. I mean, tight ends, like Ray was just saying, they're so weird. That's the position I scout last. That's the one I do tape on last. All that because if it rolls into your drafts and if it's you get whoever off the waiver wire after the draft, you're probably gonna be just fine. You know what I mean? So it's one of those I don't like to put a whole bunch of capital in. And when guys are like out, TJ Hawkinson's or whatever, there's enough other people doing scouting and report on that anyway. So I don't know, but circling back, Bryant's a sell for me.
Right. This whole class is not the most inspiring class, and that sounds crazy. There's some good players, but I can see these guys as being those ones that aren't going to be good for the next couple of years. Yeah.
Can I just make this blanket statement and we can move on from the tight ends?
Yeah.
Sell for Freiermuth, sell for Kyle Pitts, sell for Brevin Jordan in 2021.
Boom.
Because Freiermuth is freaking good. I know we might get to him, but holy crap, is he good? Oh my gosh.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. The real quick, the names we're all talking about. The only other names I had on the list were Alberto and Colby Parkinson, and neither of them you're going to get a whole lot of value for. So honestly, I don't. Yeah, like you said, they don't. This class doesn't move the needle much for me either. So.
And truth be told, out of these, well, all these underclassmen, the two that I like maybe the most now is Jacob Breland and Harrison Bryant, the other Bryant. But it all depends on landing spot, man. So I don't know. We'll see. But like you said, none of these guys really pop for me.
Right. All right, guys, they're staying. All right. I know you got to get out of here in about a half hour, Matt. So we'll try to get through these pretty quick for you, bud. Staying, Sam Ellinger for Texas. As far as a Devy prospect, does he do anything for either of you guys? Ray?
No. Live in Texas, watch a lot of UT. No. If you out there don't like Jalen Hurts, you definitely shouldn't like Sam Ellinger. I'll tell you that.
You know, like Texas Tebow with his funky throwing motion. Come on, man.
He's gonna make a hell of an H-back at the next level.
Right. Yeah, he doesn't do anything as a prospect. Matt?
No, I'm not too sold. I'll let Ray. Yeah, I defer to Ray there.
Right. All right. Next up, running backs. There's just a couple that are staying for sure. CJ Verdell from Oregon. For me, he's a hard buy. I absolutely love what I watched from him. I'd like to see him put on a little bit more weight, be a little bit more than just, I think he's more of that Travis Etienne home run hitter type, the speed guy. So I'd like to see him put on a little weight and do a little bit more, but I do like him a lot as a prospect. And if I can get him cheap, I'm going to buy CJ Verdell. Matt, you're from out West, baby. Tell us what your thoughts on Mr. Verdell.
I'm with it a lot. And I actually like that Oregon is kind of taking the West Coast Georgia path here where they have multiple, like 4 or 5 running backs utilized in a game to where none of these guys are just getting completely worn out. Troy Dye, not Troy Dye, he's a linebacker. What's the running back? Dye. He had a ton of carries this year.
Yes.
Sean Dollars was a freshman this year. I feel like he's going to get a bump next year, but I think CJ Verdell will kind of be the cream of the backfield there. You know what I mean? He'll be the D Swift to the Zamir White to the James Hook and all that stuff. So I think CJ is a for sure buy. And then I think next year we're talking about one of these other guys. Maybe Sean Dollars is the one to buy next year.
All right. Good point, man. Good point. Ray? Anything else, CJ?
Verdell's good. I'm buying him.
Perfect. All right, Ray, you got anything on Rakeem Boyd from Arkansas? For some reason, I don't have hardly anything on him as far as a Devy prospect.
I thought he declared. So I think he's in this 2020 draft. But he was on. If you watched the series Last Chance U, he was on a couple of seasons ago and was really good at the JUCO that he was at, and was really all Arkansas had. He's another one of those running backs. Get him off of your waiver wire after your rookie draft and just stash him. He's somebody who's going to make an NFL team, might be on a practice squad for a little bit, but he's got some talent. He can run the ball.
Right. It is for sure he is staying. So
is he staying? Okay.
Yes. Okay. I wasn't getting you. Maybe double check it. So, all right. Next, this is the one we wanted to really talk about. With all this leading up to this is 2021. Ray has been pounding the table. He has been up there on Twitter pounding the table for this 2021 class. And it only got stronger during this declaration process. The first one up that I think is just, we'll just get through some of these names. These guys are awesome. Sage Surratt from Wake Forest is staying, and he is a giant buy for me. What is he for you, Ray?
Buy. Man, he's good. Got injured towards the back half of the season. But, I mean, he's just big. He's physical. He's fast. He's good. I'm a big Sage Surratt fan.
And I actually wonder if, he's a buy for me now, and I would buy him. But I almost wonder if losing Newman might actually depress his value a little bit at Wake Forest. Like he may go under the radar next year a little bit, depending on who they have backing up Newman. So that was kind of a huge blow to his stock. So he may be a guy you can even get cheaper next year. But I would definitely not hesitate to buy him now as well. Matt, you got anything on Sage?
I haven't seen a ton, but this will be a common theme for me in this group of guys staying is there's a lot of buy opportunities here. So I will buy because I think that value is going to increase.
Right. Next up, Tamarion Terry from Florida State. Ray, what you got on him, bud?
Yes, big time buy. And he's one of my dark horse guys that can sneak up into that top 5 category for me. To be as big and tall as he is fast, man, and he's coming back. I'm a big Terry fan. He's good. He's really good.
Right. I saw some crazy stat the other day that he had more 70-yard touchdowns this year than like a ton of schools. Like a ton of schools. Like I think he had 4, and it was crazy. And
He's
just
fast.
Man, yeah, you can see him taking that Henry Ruggs type leap next year, man. He just, oof. I wasn't sure before, but man, I watched the last couple of games he was in, and holy crap. He looks like he's a man playing with boys out there. And yeah. So anyways, Tylan Wallace. Matt, what are you going to do with Tylan, man?
I love me some Tylan Wallace, man. He was up. I think I had him at wide receiver 5 at one point earlier in this offseason as the Devy receiver. I really like his skill set. I love, man, it goes back to like you can't even factor it in, but his catching ability while running at full stride was like something I hadn't seen on a lot of other players so far that I've watched. I'm a big fan. They got, if Chuba comes back, they still have Spencer Sanders. They should have another prolific offense. He's going to be another Blitnikoff awards finalist. He's a good time to buy right now.
Right. Another big name that is staying, Devonta Smith, is coming back to Alabama. And I assume he's a big buy for you, Ray? Or
Yep, big buy. Big time buy.
Right. He's got a chance to be the man next year, and I think you could probably get him fairly cheap. I mean, people know his name, obviously. But, everybody was so enamored with Ruggs and Judy, and they may not have realized that Devonta definitely held his own against those guys. Big buy for me as well. Matt?
100%. And this is one of those take advantage of the situations where people actually kind of let down with him not declaring, and now they want picks now. So it's one of those deals.
Right. I like it, man.
Another guy? My Audacity just turned off.
Shit.
Did you get your last take in?
But no, it's like completely closed. I wasn't even able to save it.
Oh, all right. I got the YouTube.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
That'll save it. Wait, I'll just get it off of YouTube. That's fine.
Weird.
All right, man. Yeah, well, that's what we do it for, man. It's our backup. All right. Another big name that is staying, Nico Collins. I think it was just yesterday he said that he was coming back to Michigan. He's a guy that, ironically, as much as I've seen him, I'm not really sure what I'm doing with him. I've seen him anywhere from, I think someone said they were their wide receiver like 2 or 3 coming next year, and I'm like, no. I don't know. Just from when I've watched him, he hasn't overwhelmed me, but he is very productive. But he's almost like one of those guys that just does a lot of stuff really good, but not overwhelming. So I don't know. Ray, do you got anything on Nico?
I have nothing. I mean, when I was watching Michigan play, I was really looking at Haskins and Charbonnet. None of the receivers popped for me. I mean, the kid Bell that we talked about, Ronnie Bell, seemed like he popped a little bit more to me than anybody else. I mean, I know Nico Collins just had that 200 and however many yard day the other day, but I have nothing. I'm sorry.
No, that's what I mean, though. I watched a ton of Michigan, and I don't know if it was Shea or like I don't know. Like, yeah, just I don't have a thought on a buy or a sell there. I imagine he's not very cheap or not very expensive. So if you want him, go grab him. Basically. Marcus Stevenson from Houston. Ray, you have him listed as a buy for next year.
Yep, just a speedster, one of those guys that can stretch the field. Situational role player, but he's produced, and I'm glad he came back for his senior season. So I like his talent. I really do like his talent.
Right. Because I remember him and Derek King were just lethal. They were so much fun together. So just a couple more names real quick. Reggie Roberson from SMU. Ray, you got him listed as a sell. He's a guy who's kind of got a little traction as a name in the community, but what do you think, Ray?
I like Reggie Roberson. I did a freaking prospect play on this kid. I don't know why I have him as a sell. I mean, he's a good wide receiver. I have no clue. Listen, I got a newborn. We're trying to sleep train, so I'm making excuses here. But no, I like Roberson. Sell, buy. he's Reggie Roberson. You're not getting anything for him. Just watch him for next year.
Right.
Making a note to myself to go get Reggie Roberson from Ray right now while he's sleep deprived.
Exactly.
For real.
Another guy that fits kind of in that mold for me is DeMonte Coxey for Memphis. Same boat. A guy just to watch for next year. I don't think he has a lot of value, but you see when you watch him, you do see some flashes on tape of being a better receiver than the numbers he put up. So, yeah,
he's a good sized kid, right? I mean, I feel like he was like a Laviska Shenault style like type body, so he was a good size. I like what I saw.
Right, with Antonio Gibson leaving, he should have more of a chance to be like the man there. And him and Gainwell are going to be, Blake White. Well, it's a good offense there in Memphis. Pretty good offense. Fun to watch, man. All right, tight ends real quick, like Ray said before. Get rid of your 2020 guys. Get these 2021 guys. Freiermuth, Charlie Kohler is another big name. We assume Brevin Jordan will come out. I didn't put him on the list because he didn't technically declare to come back. But the 2021 class is legit. Yeah. Kyle Pitts, same thing. So you got anything on that, Matt?
No, I love these athletic, highlighted tight ends who are being implemented and utilized as like legit weapons. You know what I mean? And Brevin's been kind of the name for the past couple of years, but there's no denying Kyle Pitts' ability, talent, all the stuff that he has. And then it's just crazy because he's so good that Pat Freiermuth and Charlie Kohler are kind of like, we're talking maybe tight end 3 and 4, where this year, golly, who's going to be tight end 1 even? You know what I mean? So it's kind of a cool thing. But man, the 2021 class, here we are. It's time to start buying, man. So especially as you go into your 2020 drafts and people are getting hot to trot on taking some of these picks at 204, and you're moving that for a 112 or whatever the next season. So I like, man, all these tight ends are really interesting and intriguing to me.
All right, excellent. Ray, anything else, man?
Matt hit the nail on the head. I mean,
perfect.
Listen, a lot of you out there, every year we say the next year's class is better. Like, this is just the reality. There are the 2021 class right now, the way it's looking is going to be very good at quarterback, extremely deep at wide receiver, and very good at tight end. Right now, the running backs are a little bit lacking, and that's just the reality of it. And if you're not looking ahead a year, 2 years ahead, you're not playing dynasty right. And that's what we're here for, folks.
Exactly. Well said, man. Well said. All right. Matt's got to go to a bachelor draft where he's drafting the bachelor contestants and watching the bachelor.
Hold on. Y'all are not going to deface me like this. Listen here. My wife has been a fan of the Bachelor forever, and all I ever did was make fun of it. So she, as smart as she is, goes, what if we did a draft and we drafted these people and you would be into it? This was well before they had this as like mainstream, right? So what does my brain say at that point in time? Ooh, fantasy, we're drafting prospects, boom, done. So I created this massive Excel spreadsheet with formatting, scoring, the whole thing. I do rankings. I got draft grades. Hey, and guess who's won the last 5 seasons though? So come on.
So, come on, Candace, take her out. I know you can get her. Anyways,
I have no comment. Let's wrap this up, please.
Matt, tell everybody where they can find your work, man.
Man, look, if you want my Bachelor Excel spreadsheet, draft grades, let me know. I'll send those to your Google Docs. No, I'm at Commish McGriff all over Twitter, and I'm over at DHH, obviously doing this podcast with you fine gentlemen, doing some rankings over there, which need to be updated on the Devy side. And man, that's about it. So I'm just getting ready, loving this off season, and it's time to start working.
Yeah. Ray?
Yep. Ray GQ on Twitter. Find me there. Destination Devy podcast. I have no schedule anymore. It just comes out when it does. I don't know when. We'll get to it.
Yeah, it's kind of where we fell on this show. We were going to do it last week, and then we're like, Yeah, so, and Ray's doing some big stuff in DLF and some other big stuff at DLF coming up the chain. I don't know if I should announce it yet. But anyways, you can find my work at DLF. Find me on Twitter at FF People's Champ. Find this podcast, Devy Happy Hour on Twitter and DevyHappyHour@gmail.com on the email side. We will talk to you guys soon.
Peace.
All right, so listen, this is what she did. Not only do we do a fantasy bachelor, we do a fantasy, the show The Voice. We do fantasy, The Voice. We do fantasy, all the things now. She got me into it. So now I watch her shows with her. I mean, it works.
I can watch The Voice. I don't mind The Voice. I don't know.
She
My
kills
wife
me
had
in
me
that, though.
watching the Masked Singer.
That show was kind of fun, kind of
That
crazy.
show is fun, man. And it's I knew Wayne Brady. I plugged Wayne Brady immediately. He was too easy. He's super talented, though, man.
He is. He's like crazy talented. Yeah, so I'll just record this off YouTube. It'll be fine. Won't be quite as good,
all of a sudden this thing popped up saying something disk space, blah, 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 and it shut down Audacity.
Sounds like my computer.
We'll just have the dogs whining in the background and stuff like. It'll be all right. Whatever.
Oh, man.
It'll make it easier for you to edit. So whatever.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good, man. All right, guys. The wifey just walked in. Perfect timing.
All right, fellas.
I'll talk to you. Yeah, probably next week we'll shoot or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe
All right.
Thursday, like Wednesday or Thursday. So, all right, guys.
Adios, boys.
This is hilarious. Okay, so like this is you like doing your podcast about football, completely surrounded by.
Right. I know. It's kind of silly. Whoops.
Love it.